Thanksgiving is around the corner, y'all, which means a lot of us are going to be seated around a table, either with family, strangers, or people somewhere in between those two. And the likelihood for conflict or tense conversation to arise, well, it often happens. So today, I'm going to share 5 simple ways that you can avoid conflict around your Thanksgiving table. Stay tuned. Hey y'all, what's up? It's Dr. Allison. If you are a regular viewer here, then you know that I am a licensed clinical psychologist and I love simplifying psychology, breaking it down into bite-sized little pieces that you can apply to your everyday life. And today I'm super pumped to be talking about how we can manage conflict, particularly around the holidays, because it often seems to come up around that time because we're mixing family and a lot of time together, sometimes close quarters. It can get a little bit tense. So today I'm going to share some ways that you can make that a little bit easier for yourself. I am traveling this week to Arizona to be with my in-laws. We celebrate Thanksgiving with Matt's family. And so I often go with these tips in mind just to make sure that this is a really positive, great experience for the holidays. All right, here we go. Number 1, set some ground rules. Decide some topics that maybe you want to steer clear of. So these are topics, often we think of the big 3, right? Politics, religion, and money. But maybe for your family or for your group, there's something else that tends to just get kind of heated or get very awkward. Go ahead and give yourself permission, set some boundaries for yourself that you're not going to engage around those topics. Now, if your family's open to it, set some ground rules for the table. Like, I've seen people do this in really fun, kind of cheeky ways where they'll write on like a little piece of paper, or if you have got like a chalkboard wall in their kitchen, like ground rules for the table. And that helps people kind of know what we're going to kind of talk about and what we're going to steer clear of. So have this plan, have these ground rules in mind. And maybe they're your ground rules just for yourself, or maybe they're for the table, but it will really help things be more positive. Now, I will totally issue a disclaimer, and that is this. I love difficult, uncomfortable conversations. And I know that sounds weird, meaning like I love them, because I don't really love having them. They're difficult and uncomfortable, but I believe that they're so important that we can talk about difficult, heavy, hard things. I think there are times that are more helpful to talk about those, and then there are times where, I don't know, it's not my main priority. So I might encourage you to really think about, are the 2 or 3 hours that you're around the table, is that really the time to address some of these issues and have meaningful dialogue? I think most people and their families would answer no. Number 2, come prepared with stuff to talk about. So I just talked about having some topics that you want to steer clear of, but we as humans then, if we're taking stuff off the table, we need to be intentional about bringing stuff on the table. Come prepared with a list of topics, not just safe topics, but topics that are likely to bring up meaningful, fun, connecting conversation. So this is going to take a little bit of planning and thought on your part, but it will really help. So if your aunt and uncle, you saw on Facebook that they took a really cool trip this year, ask them about it. What made them pick that place? What would they recommend? What were they surprised by? Don't just say like, how was the trip? Be prepared to have some depth to that. If your sister-in-law has a new job, ask her how it's going. What is she learning? What are the biggest challenges? Again, engage. If you read a book this year that you loved, share about that book and get other people's feedback. What books have they loved? What things have they drawn from whatever they've read, right? Come prepared. Have a little mental list in your head, and if the conversation kind of gets stale or things die down, pull up one of those topics. I've also seen some families that like keep a bowl of conversation topics in the middle of the table, or you can even buy one of those little table topic games. I love those. I think they're a great way to infuse some really fun but also thought-provoking discussion. Okay, I will also say, if somebody at your table breaks rule number 1, right, they bring up one of those topics that we've agreed we're going to steer clear on, and you can feel like, ooh, this is going down a path that's not helpful, bring up one of these topics that we're talking about that you came prepared with, and it will be a smooth transition. You can redirect with one of these topics, and nobody will even notice. Number 3, That is number 3. Oh yeah. Number 3, embrace gratitude. I know a lot of people have a tradition around their holiday table where they share what they're grateful for this year. And I love that. Y'all know I love gratitude. But I'm going to give you a challenge to really deepen that practice because most people tend to say the same thing every year, right? My family, my health, my security, whatever. 90% of people say the same thing. So add a spin to this question. Maybe you're going to ask people, what lesson are you most grateful for learning this year? What challenge are you most grateful for? Make it more relational. Say, what are you grateful for about the person on your right? What are you grateful for about the person sitting across from you? This is a really cool way to kind of use that concept of gratitude and thankfulness, but to really deepen it. It's also a fun way to really learn some things about the people at your table that you might not know. Number 4. Shift your attention. Now, if one of those redirects doesn't work or you don't feel comfortable really asserting or changing kind of the tone of the whole table, learn to shift your attention, which literally means you're in one conversation, you can feel it's not going well or you're uncomfortable for a reason or you're no longer engaged. Shift your attention, literally. Your attention, your energy, and even your body a little bit into another conversation or another area. This sends a really subtle signal, one, to yourself and your brain that you're shifting your attention, but it can also send a really subtle signal to the other people at your table or whoever you were talking with that you're not really comfortable with what was going on. If you have kids at your table, they are such an easy, awesome thing to shift your attention to because they're usually very silly, kind, and they want all of your attention. And lastly, number 5, breathe mindfully. Y'all know I talk about mindful breathing all the time because it is a simple, effective, proven way to reduce your tension and stress at a physiological level. I've got a whole video on this, which I totally encourage you to check out, but the Cliff Notes version is you take a deep breath in through your nose, you pause, and then you slowly exhale through your mouth. Do that 2 or 3 times and you'll be shocked at what a huge difference it makes. I would totally recommend doing this before, during, and after the meal, especially when things get tense or for whatever reason you get anxious or uncomfortable or a little bit nervous. It's really effective and no one even knows you're doing it. I hope these 5 tips were helpful. I'd love for you to share the one that you're going to use the most or really be intentional about this Thanksgiving as you're seated around the table. Whatever your situation looks like this holiday, my hope is that you can use some of these strategies. If we go in with a game plan, y'all, and we are intentional about the way we choose to live our lives, connect with people, it makes a huge difference. When our brains go on autopilot, when the conversation at the table goes on autopilot, it rarely goes in a place that is really helpful or really meaningful. So choose to do something different this Thanksgiving. I think you'll be surprised at how big of a difference it makes. I also want to take a note or make a note before we end to say how grateful I am for all of you who continue to watch my videos and read my posts and share them with friends. It means so much to me. This has been a dream and I just love this community that we have, and so I'm so grateful for you and the time that we spend together. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving this year, I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving and that you'll use some of these strategies. As always, I share videos weekly and you can find more information on my website, drallisonanswers.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely hit subscribe. You'll see extended videos and you'll also be the first to know about them. And of course, if you are on Facebook, come find me there because I post lots of little quick things to help you live a more healthy and meaningful life. All right, y'all, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.